Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are watching this or what time you are watching this. It would only matter where if you're not in Connecticut and you're a different time zone. But we're going to continue on our series of bringing you lots of hyper local information when it pertains to what's going on with the town of Griswold. Doesn't have to always be about COVID-19. Even though that is the underlying fear that most of us have right now. I'm Mike Minarski with Ryan Aubin, who is the Director of Parks and Rec.
Hi, how you doing?
How are you doing, Ryan?
Oh, good.
Good.
From home.
I'm actually at the station, but I'm social distant from anybody because there's nobody here.
I appreciate you contacting me now because usually I have 3 screaming children. So if you ever, work from home, you know how that goes. But right now it's quiet. They're all playing.
I couldn't do it. I started doing the work from home thing.
Yeah.
And I can do the radio show and everything right from the house. You can do everything right there.
Yep.
But what happens when you have one 16-year-old in the background going, "Oh, son of a gun, son!" They're complaining because they're excited about playing their Xbox game.
And
you hear that in the background, So
I have baby noises. I have brother and sister yelling at each other. So, the youth center is not open to the public. Go there too to make sure it's quiet, especially when I have meetings and. So, but you got a good time because my kids aren't in the house. So I appreciate you. I've taken a rain check because you tried earlier in the week and it's not happening. Plus we're teaching. We're all professional teachers now. It's if you're.
I can never keep a straight face with you, by the way, no matter what we talk
about. Well, but here I show this on camera. So.
And that's got to be your wife's cup.
That's my wife's cup. Yep. So I had my Wolverine radio one, but I don't have that here, unfortunately.
You the one you threw out in the garbage during our wrestling match days?
Yes. That I got so many angry people, thinking Mike did something wrong to me.
That was so classic when you just took the mug when we were doing the wrestling thing that we act like we're hating each other. You just dropped it right. You didn't say nothing. You just dropped it right in the garbage. That said everything right there.
You gotta, it got the word out, but what can you do?
Why does Mike hate Ryan? Why does Ryan hate Mike?
I know. Well, I just said he's not very nice to me.
So. He wasn't nice to me either.
Nope.
So what's going on at Parks and Rec? I mean, I know there's, it's a tumultuous time for everybody, and not just down at Town Hall itself, but at Youth and Family Services too. So what's going on, or what's not going on?
Yeah, well, events are up in the air right now, and we had to cancel everything. Utopia, the community yard sale, issue refunds. Also, youth basketball, we had another month left of that, so we issued partial refunds for that too. And then the May 2nd event, the Town Hall takeover, we canceled because who knows? We have vendors that don't want to, fork over money for something they don't know is guaranteed. And even if it was happening, who would turn out for it with, everything going on? We have the fireworks still planned for the July 2nd. But honestly, with that, we'll have to make a call mid-May to early June because you have to have at least 2 weeks out for cancellation to get your money back. So that's up in the air, and that's the carnival too. So right now is on the event side, there's nothing really going on, which is honestly very strange, but this is a strange time to tell you the truth. And and then my youth center staff was laid off because the reason for that is all union members are on in the town, but my department is actually the only department in town that I know of that has non-union part-time staff. So in the effort to cut costs, because as the town situation is, they're worried that people aren't going to pay taxes, because how could you if you don't have an income? So they cut my part-time staff, which I can't be mad at it. It's just disappointing because I still have work, to do that now I'm doing. And they were helping out a huge amount, and they're all working from their houses together, using things like this or using Google server or planning for summer camp. So, and summer camp's up in the air too. We don't have a decision yet, but it's kind of like a snowball effect because we're in budgeting right now. So if we don't have summer camp, that's $150,000 cut from our budget, because why would you fund something that's not going to happen? So there's answers we really need right away, but we don't have. So I don't know. It's kind of a tricky dilemma to be in, but we'll get through. It's not like we slowed down too much. Just online, Facebook, everybody was forced to change, right? Like the way you approach the public. And I just looked at other rec departments in Three Rivers, who does quarantine weeks, which are all these different events, like create a Instagram image and they do awards. So, and then we did something for us, which was the teddy bears, Judson and Grizzled Bear Hunt, where you put a teddy bear in your front window and you give them hints to find it. And then there's also the Easter egg one, the Hearts for Healthcare that was out there. People putting up hearts in their windows. And again, it's just me relying on other groups of what's successful and trying to do it here. And a lot of our participation from residents just messaging me, this would be a good idea. I'm like, yeah, it is. I'm just surprised that, 60 to 100 Southern people are interested in doing this. And it brings the family out where, they're driving around and there's kids and teenagers participating, plus their parents. It's just neat. It's something we've never done before. And it wasn't really thought through, but it's very successful. So what can you do?
So what happens to the creative process?
Mm-hmm.
And 6 months ago, I never would have even have thought to ask you something like this.
Yeah.
But what happens to the creative process that you put forth when a pandemic pops out of nowhere? What do you do? What does that do to your creative process?
I kind of look at it as, how do you engage the community as best as you can, given the situation you're in? And doing that is just kind of relying on other sources. Myself, I know what would work for my children. Like, for example, the Hearts thing, we put one out on our sign out here, and we got to go drive around and look for them. It was pretty neat. So, how in your job, there's things that you rely on to kind of get you through. Like paperwork, I have to do it. It's part of the job. But to ease my mind, I'll work on something creative, like designing a logo or creating an event or start marketing something just to get those juices going. And it's tough because in this situation, I have ideas, but I can't implement them. So I'm kind of taking that focus and looking into next year's school season. And one of the ways I did that was Pride. Pride is doing a resource guide. So I redesigned it for them, and we issued, that's going to be coming out in a week or so.
I think we lost you. I think I lost you there, Ryan. We've got him back.
I don't know why. Everything just dropped out, but I'll use my phone. That looks better.
Well, maybe you were just putting your pants back on.
Yeah, that's it. You got me.
I do all my podcasts with pants on.
That's is this on the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So my buddy Mike Morton,
Yeah.
you know Mike.
Sure.
So he works from home for Foxwoods, and he wears a shirt and tie because he does meetings. So I'm like, do you wear like pants? He's like, oh, I just wear PJs with a shirt and tie. So I'm like, that's hilarious. Walking around the house like that.
Yeah, because really all you're being seen really is from like the chest up, and that's really it. So, but I am fully clothed because I would not want anybody to have to think about the alternative.
This would be a really tough interview, See, Zoom just popped up. Does that happen a lot?
What do you mean?
Like on my computer, it popped up like normal, but I'm on my phone here.
You're on your phone?
Yeah.
No kidding, really?
Yeah.
It's just as good as if you were on your laptop.
Yeah, that's weird because I popped back up on my laptop, and I don't know. I don't use it too often.
We're talking about the like the creative juices and stuff. How it's affected,
Mhm.
has been affected.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know about you, but in my job, you kind of rely on the things that kind of brings that out of you to get you through. So that's the hardest part. Things that help is I have a awesome recreation commission. Like they're really good people. And when the layoffs happen, I text the group and what do you need? Like, what do you need help on? And I am lucky to have them. So now keeping that creative process going, right now we can't really start planning events. So we're going to try to use this time to work on the master plan for the town. That includes like what recreational outlets you want to see in town, like whether it's a dog park, a basketball court. And you start planning it and doing the groundwork for it. So once you have it, you break it down into phases for funding, and you try to figure out, well, what's the most important thing? And, like bike trails, things like that to connect the rural Griswold area like Buttonwoods.
Dog park would be awesome. It really would.
Yeah, I think it would too. And, it comes up a lot. It's funny, years ago when Kevin was here, they wanted to do a dog park. And then that was before we moved to the youth center. And Kevin was funny. They're asking me, like, we do $100,000 dog park. And Kevin's like, well, Ryan's trying to get a building first, for the youth center. But even back then, it's a thought. And there's acreage in the town. We probably could do it at a minimum amount, because everything we're doing, we're not trying to spend tons of money to do it. We're trying to get it done without doing that, or doing a fundraiser to get it.
Where would a dog park go?
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, there's a land. What happened is, a few years ago, I don't know if it was Todd here or maybe the end of Kevin leaving as first selectman, but the town sold off a lot of land, which is a good thing, of areas that were open. But one of the ideas that came up at one point is, they talked about the skate park. When we made the skate park, what happens when you write a grant and you receive the funding for the grant, you have to use that money or that park for that intention for 10 years. So 2008 is when we got the grant, so that's up. So at one point, again, this would go out to the community. This is just kind of brainstorming. But at one point in other cities, more the cities than towns, what they did with their skate parks is they actually put AstroTurf over the skate park. So the jumps and the ramps, and they turned it into like an exercise course for dogs. So it's easy to clean up, all the messes on the AstroTurf, and you just use a hose. But and there's also a drainage system already built into the skate park. So, it's just ways of doing it, but it kind of comes down to what the community would want to do. So we'd put it out to the community, have them vote on it, and we'd break it down in that way to see what's the most important thing to do. Basketball court, a professional sized basketball court outdoors, honestly, is probably the most important thing. Because we don't have any. The closest parks that have one is Constitution Field in Voluntown, which has an amazing basketball court that was done with a grant years ago. And Robert Red McKeon Park in Occam is the other one that has, and I know his name because he's my grandfather. So, you know, so his park right by the fire department has an amazing basketball court. So, you know, you kind of figure out what the community wants, and you just
what about Plainfield?
Plainfield has a really good. They have a good
Right by Town Hall.
Yeah, they and they they have a pool. How great would it be to have a pool in this town? But yeah, you just have
that would be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and pools are hugely expensive, but over time you can make revenue on them to pay off what you paid to put them in. So yeah, I don't know. We're trying to figure it out, but again, Rec Commission has been amazing, like always, and so that's where kind of the creative juices are going now, is because we really wanted to do it, and we just every meeting it's this event, and they come right after another, and now we have a lull, which is kind of nice because we can kind of refocus on something for the community, and then see what happens in a few months when hopefully this all goes away. But who knows?
How long do you think before this all goes away? I mean, I know you're not a virologist. How do you say it? Virologist.
I don't know, but I'm not that.
You're not a doctor.
No, I'm not a doctor. I really want to become I'm only 2 years away from being a PhD in recreation, which I think is hilarious. Being a doctor of recreation.
Doctor of thugonomics.
Yes. Well, that's my other job.
John Cena.
Yep. Yeah. Yes, you can't see me.
Did you watch WrestleMania?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I don't have the network. I don't want to pay for it. I actually got the free pass because I'm frugal, but it didn't include WrestleMania, and I'm kind of bummed about that because I thought I was going to be able to watch it, but no.
Let me know when you want to watch it. I'll give you my password and all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Jolene's been hating me because I've been staying up late and watching every documentary I can, and because I have a week, right? So I cruised through the Stone Cold episodes in a day. So now I'm on, there a couple other things, and I love it.
Skull.
Yeah, Broken Skull.
Yeah.
I like those interviews, but
yeah,
she thinks I'm a nerd. I'm okay with that.
Anything else about Parks and Rec, Ryan? Or I know it's a tough time right now. It may even be hard to talk about certain items because of things just really coming to an abrupt halt.
Yeah, well, the only thing I know people ask a lot about is we're gonna have a 3-vehicle parade with the Easter Bunny, but that was overturned. There's a group that's the emergency group in town, and they just didn't want to do that because they're worried about people coming out and grouping up to watch a parade. But it was never the intention for that. It was kind of, to think about it, is the Pope Mobile. It's a little higher paced parade, and you're just waving.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming out. Nobody's coming close. You're not throwing candy to kids. It's just the Easter Bunny. And it was supposed to be the fire department leading, and then Lionel LaSalle CPA, their amazing float they have, with the Easter Bunny in the back waving, and just the rec, Grizzle Park and Rec van. And that was it. But that got, turned over. So unfortunately we can't do that, but we're trying, they're trying to do as much as we can with what we got. And
well, I think safety first,
Yeah.
There's so many uncertainties right now.
Yeah, that's true. And you can't as well as you plan something, it never goes to plan. So that's the way I look at it.
Why don't we check in about a week or so?
Sure.
What's going on? See if anything's changed. We'll get the public all up to speed once again as far as what's going on with Parks and Rec as Ryan sits on his iPhone while wearing pants.
You don't know that.
I'm just going to take an educated guess.
Thanks, Mike. Be
Thanks,
well.
man. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.